considering we were still in the Depression.
Oh, sure. So,
Bad.
so our staff had a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind me asking, Bob. One of our staff members was wondering during operations when you were flying, how long would a normal flight go, and how often during the week were you flying?
Uh, 4.5, 4.5, uh, sometimes shorter, but that's about the average.
Fair enough. When you first climbed into a cockpit of a plane and you got airborne, how did that make you feel?
Good, good. Nothing like flying. Biggest thrill of my life is when I stepped into that plane for my first flight.
Oh, I bet. I can't even imagine. So one of our players, his name is Sharon 2018. He was wondering, was the F6F Hellcat the aircraft you logged the most flight hours in?
Yes,
Okay, and then
I
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I had just close to $900.
Were those off of mostly airfields, or was it mostly the Bennington that you were stationed on?
Oh, mostly airfield.
Okay. How long were you on board the USS Bennington for?
I was only aboard her a couple of weeks,
Oh, really?
and Truman dropped the bomb.
Fair enough. Um, so
I
so
was
one of the things I wanted to highlight was last Friday, you had your 99th birthday. And from what I gather from Steve and Debbie and everyone there at the Lexington, they kind of surprised you, didn't they?
a tremendous surprise. I could not believe it. Could
Like
not believe it.
100 cars that drove
And
by.
they're a great group. This ship has been a lifesaver for me since the last 26 years. Just imagine every time I come aboard the ship that I served aboard when we were fighting the Japanese.
So you served aboard
Tremendous,
Lexington.
tremendous. And it's a ship that everyone should visit. We have a tremendous number of exhibits, getting better every year. She's a battle scarred veteran, torpedoes, hit by kamikazes. Uh, and we have a Pearl Harbor exhibit. We got so much to show everyone, and they will not be disappointed.
That's definitely something that I've made the call since I visited a lot of ship museums throughout the United States, and I have to say that Lexington is one of the finer museum ship exhibits that are in existence. The amount of material that you could look at, see, people like yourself that you could talk to. Like I said, I met you, and you kind of explained the Pearl Harbor exhibit at the time, and it didn't even click in my head that you might actually be a World War II vet because you definitely don't act your age, young man. I definitely thought you were significantly younger than you are. So it was fantastic. But something I wanted to highlight to you to kind of show you the scale of this interview, Bob, is I've been seeing welcomes and happy birthdays to you from all over the world. One person from New Zealand, somebody from Brazil. I'm seeing people from all over the country all wishing you a happy birthday and thank you for being on the stream. And like I told you, we're recording this, and after the fact, you'll be able to go back through and kind of look at some of this stuff. Because the other thing I kind of surprised you with before this was your daughter snuck some photos to us. And for those people watching the stream at home, you'll see those pictures scrolling on the screen. The ones from the album are pictures of a young Bob Batterson in his youth, probably causing havoc out there in Pearl Harbor, I imagine.
So Captain Batterson, if I may ask,
Yes, indeed.
what compelled you to join the United States Navy?
But that invitation to those who are able to travel is come to Corpus Christi and board the USS Lexington.
Totally. Ask your question again, Tim.
What compelled you to join the Navy, Captain Batterson? What compelled you to join the Navy? Why did you join the Navy?
Why did I join the Navy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, we were still in the Depression. I graduated from high school, and there weren't many jobs. I got a job, but my parents wanted me to pay room and board. I wanted to save money to go to college, and they didn't relent, so I joined the Navy, and have never regretted doing so.
Fantastic. Let me ask you some more questions from the community. Karl-Heinz Binsbark is a player. He asks a very important question to you. Bob, what was your favorite breakfast in the Navy?
A meal that was hot and a meal that was good.
Fair enough.
For what it was, if it was good, I didn't have a favorite, just good food.
Fair enough.
That's all we wanted, just something that was warm and plenty of coffee.
Plenty of yes,
Right.
indeed. Yes, indeed. You got to have your go juice, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Porosos, he asks, what is your favorite memory of being on a ship? Like when you were on board a ship, when was your favorite memory?
There's plenty of coffee.
The first night I slept aboard my ship, the first ship, in a hammock. And even though I was in a hammock, we were getting ready for war. You know, Roosevelt was building up. So we had to use the hammocks. But I felt secure. I felt like home. And I'll never forget that night. It's always been with me. It is my favorite.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, like your first night on board ship, because that's actually one of my fondest memories too. I mean, granted, I don't have any stories that compare to yours, but I remember my very first night I climbed in my rack for the first time on my first ship too. Like that's one of the memories I don't think I'll ever forget. So I could totally understand that. Tob Torp asks, what do you think one of the scarier things that you ever had to deal with during your career was?
Taking off escort carrier at night. An escort carrier is 550 feet long.
Oh, good Lord.
This carrier, the Lex, is 900 feet long. And believe me, that makes a lot of difference. When you're going to take off and then land, and there's very little horizon, it sort of disappeared. We were going through a rainstorm. But that was a tough time, thinking about it, because I was not an instrument pilot. And yet we had an artificial horizon, buddy. That was it.
Oh man, I could imagine doing that even at night. That's crazy to me. 500 feet. You're pretty much stopped to in the air like in a second, huh?
Even during the daytime, if you landed, made a perfect landing right in the middle of that ship, you could look at the water on both sides. You were so close.
Good Lord.
That frightens me.
Yeah.
I was on the Eisenhower, and that's 1,092 feet long, and it's and just watching some of the younger pilots in the planes that have more technology bolter and miss and have to go around. I can only imagine what that must feel like when you're able to look over on the port side of a ship or the starboard side of the ship and see there's the ocean.
Yes. Where is it? There was no doubt where it was when you're, and never
Yeah.
forget.
Right.
That's
Sisyphus also would like to know why the Navy? Why did you pick the Navy?
Years ago,
we lost you there.
who's read? I forget what they're called, but they always showed these battleships walking in the water. Oh, I sort of fell in love with those battleships. Made me pro Navy. And that's one of the reasons. Probably
Hoo-yah.
as a teenager.
That's fantastic. So did you ever get seasick, man?
Oh my! First day the Philadelphia left port in Long Beach, California. I was out, get outside the breakwater on
Oh,
the old
yeah.
ship, started up and down, and oh, I hit, I hit the side of that ship just in time. I was sick. And on the bridge, they're saying, "Oh, hit that guy."
Well, I mean, at least you made it off the side of the ship. That's the important thing.
They were very sympathetic.
So,
But yes, I got over it, but it happened several times.
oh man,
Some never did, and they had to be discharged.
I was really lucky, and I know in my naval career, because the smaller ships that I was on, we rocked and rolled quite a bit. But the for me, my seasickness was I just wanted to go to sleep. I just wanted to curl up somewhere and go to sleep. So that was the worst of it for me, anyway. So
I feel like it took me only a couple of weeks to really get over being seasick. But and eventually you just learn to walk at an angle, and you just kind of learn to walk with the ship when it's rocking. But I will tell you that from my experience, I have never gotten as sound of a sleep as I did when we were out to sea and that boat was rocking, and it just puts you to sleep. Even it
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Catapults launching, aircraft landing, whatever happening, it knocks you out.
So, Bob, let me ask you this. You said you got seasick. So, did you ever get airsick? Never. That's awesome. Well, fair enough. So, Izio Audit. I hope I don't butcher this name. I think this name is an Italian screen name. Ezio Auditore de Firenze would like to know, in your opinion, in your time in the service, what was the most beautiful looking ship to you? Or do you have one?
USS, uh, the USS Galveston,
Really?
CLG-3, a guided missile cruiser, the first Talos guided missile cruiser in the fleet. She was a a cruiser that was made a conventional cruiser, converted her to a guided missile cruiser, Philadelphia. And she never saw combat, but it was a good tour, aboard a great ship.
That's
Cruising
fantastic.
part,
You
right?
you mentioned that. My dad was actually stationed on USS Oklahoma City, CLG-5, which was the same exact
Yeah,
conversion.
same class.
And he has pictures of that ship all over the house. I mean, that's he hasn't seen that ship, in 40 years or whatever, but
Oh,
that's still his favorite, out of all of them. That's fantastic. Darth Alpha? He asks, What did sailors on board Lexington? Now I know the answer to this because actually you told me this when I was on board. But what did sailors stationed on board Lexington call the Lexington?
Geez, all I know is what?
Because they used
What
to
did I
have
tell you?
I mean, the nickname Blue Ghost.
yeah
Blue, oh, the blue ghost.
the nickname Bob.
Oh,
I mean, I call her Lady Lex, but I know that is connected to the original Lexington more than the current one. So. Let's see here. Good question from Kretchik. He asks, what were ways that you used to pass what little free time you had when you were on board ship?
well, the listen man really tried to 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 get some sleep. And the other couldn't take a nap, tried to get some sun, especially during lunch hour. That's favorite pastime of the guys aboard. It's about all there was to do. There wasn't much to do aboard those ships in those days.
Fair enough. I like how you said that as the enlisted guys, that's what you're trying to do because you're used to working them long hours, right? So you don't get much free time.
Kept us busy. Yep.
Sukrat SSG1 asks, where in your naval career were you stationed? So what places during your career were you stationed?
Oh my goodness. San Diego, Long Beach, Norfolk, Washington. I had 2 tours of duty in that city, and I'll never forget it. That was a terrible duty
Why was that?
because the politicians ran it.
And then of course,
We had to be very careful,
oh yeah,
and then of course aboard ship and Monterey was one of my favorites. I went to PG school there.
yeah, postgraduate school. It's still there. It's the Navy's postgraduate school is still there.
Still there.
How long were you stationed in Pearl?
And where?
In Pearl Harbor?
Well, I was with the fleet. About a year and a couple of years actually being stationed there.
Okay. Let's see. I know you said earlier you have no regrets for your naval career, and I know this is true. But one of our players asks, "Would you do if you had a chance? Would you do it all again?"
Well, I don't think I did too bad. I think I'd sort of stay with the same plan.
Fair enough. I mean, you're here at 99, so evidently you did something right?
Yeah, yes.
Let's see here.
Apprentice seaman to captain. That's
You went through it all.
I wouldn't want to change that.
What rank were you? What rank were you when you got your commission?
Oh, I was a storekeeper first class, petty officer first class, discharged from the regular Navy, picked up into reserve, B5 program, aviation cadet. It's an aviation cadet when I got my commission.
Did you do your flight school in Pensacola?
Oh, right here, Corpus Christi.
Okay. That's awesome.
I'm sure in your time it's just as rare, but I know I'll tell you, with almost 22 years in, there's very I'm sure I could barely count on one hand how many sailors I met that went from junior enlisted to the rank that you made it to, sir. So that's an immense accomplishment that you did that, and not only did that during that time frame, but through multiple wars, not just World War II. That's something that needs to be mentioned, right? You served during World War II, the Korean conflict, Vietnam, so on and so forth. So that's just a testament to either A, how stubborn you are, sir, or how salty you are.
I was blessed.
Indeed. So Lieutenant Sebastian, I'm assuming this gentleman is British because he spelled lieutenant with an F. He's asking, what would you consider as the highlight or most memorable moment of your naval career?
Getting those wings, and being an ensign in the Navy as a commissioned officer, that was a very important day in my life.
Did they happen at the same time?
Oh yes,
Okay.
that was automatic. But for a kid from West Virginia getting his wings, it just still blows my mind.
Since you got up, have you been up since you retired? Have you flown any aircraft since you retired?
No, oh no,
Why not, Bob?
no.
I was hoping you would take me up in a flight.
I see what happened, what those pilots must do today. They've got to have a master's degree in math to cope with the cockpit.
Right? Let's see here. Naval Pride 33 would like to know, what were your best and worst places to take off from or land on, either airfield or ship? And you mentioned the escort carrier with the 500-foot runway, but does that take the cake for the worst?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. There could be no worse situation. But the landing was even worse than takeoff.
Oh, I believe it.
You come in so slow, you're washing out the cockpit with a stick.
Oh my gosh.
It was tenuous, to say the least. But it matured you very, very fast.
That I can believe. What was your favorite? Like, what was the best place for you to land?
Well, geez, any large airport,
Solid land.
big runway,
Fair enough.
not many planes.
Joe CS would like to know, how much news did you have of the war in the Pacific at large while you were out to sea or doing operations, or the war in Europe? How much news did you have, or did you know?
But if you had a radio, they were broadcasting. If aboard ship, they had their daily news. That was our source of news. But I'd say we were kept up to date well as could have been done.
Fair enough.
Where were you at when the war ended? Where were you at when you heard that the war was over?
Well, this is more than Bennington.
Sorry?
See, when the war ended, I was aboard the Bennington with Fighting Squadron 1. We last hop, we worked over an airport or two, northern Honshu. That's that's when we got the word, and we were very, very happy, extremely happy.
How long had you been away from home at that point?
Oh, about, gee, been 6, 7 months, been outside the States.
Did the attitude and the morale on the ship immediately shift? Did everybody start celebrating and as soon as you guys heard the war was over?
Tremendous difference. The attitude. Everybody was happy.
So
Smiles, jokes. It's a different world.
I believe it.
World.
So I have
In
a
the blink of an eye.
question right now in the stream. There's pictures of your wife flashing up. We actually had a player ask specifically about where you met your first wife, and Debbie, one of the employees there at Lexington, had told me she was a Wave originally. Correct?
Yes.
So for those of you in chat that don't know, a Wave is basically Bob, but obviously in female form. It was the female branch of the pilots, correct? For the U.S. Army Air Corps at the time.
She didn't work for the Airedales.
Okay.
She was stationed in Washington with the Bureau of Ships,
Oh.
Damage Control Section.
Oh wow.
Bureau of Ships. That was her battle station.
So DC obviously wasn't too bad of a place for you to be stationed.
Well, you said it, I didn't.
Fair enough. And how long did she serve for?
She was in 3.5 years.
Okay. And your current wife, they're seeing the pictures from the parade this past week. Where did you meet her?
Met her right here in Corpus Christi.
And I heard from a little bird that she is approximately 20 years younger than you.
It's pretty close.
Well, good on you.
No, she isn't.
Okay.
No, there's a lot less difference in our age than that.
Oh, fair enough. Well, we won't tell her that you said that.
We better get off that subject.
So I have a question for you. So in all your naval career, what was your favorite uniform? What uniform did you like the best? Blues, whites, flight suit, your dungarees when you were enlisted?
Your pajamas.
Or PJs, yeah.
My preference to wear of all across the board has to be the blue uniform.
Oh,
blue.
totally. 100%.
Yeah.
Those blues could make any person look just completely debonair, can't they?
Sure.
Chief.
Now, well, along those lines, I have a really important question for you. As a chief to a captain, I have to ask you, do you have any memorable chiefs or chiefs that you remember from your career specifically? Maybe not a name, but you ever have a chief that really stood out to you during your career?
Yes. Aboard the guided missile cruiser. We put that ship in commission. And we worked out a system of supporting the maintenance people. They had a new missile system. They had a lot of problems. They had a lot of work to do. And it was our job to make it as easy as we could. And the two of us worked together and got them little kits for maintenance, other little favors, getting him support as fast as we could. And he was a key man. He did everything. did everything beautiful. And they really appreciate it. Those maintenance people really let us know that they were happy. That was worth everything to us, to him,
Fantastic.
and to him.
Fantastic.
I worked in aviation intermediate maintenance department, so we were part of the ship's crew that kept the aircraft up to date and ready for the pilots. So we know, I know firsthand, watching a pilot take off from the deck and watching them come back from an enlisted perspective it feels good to know that the work that they're doing. So as much as you appreciated the folks working on your aircraft, they appreciated seeing you come back with it as well. So it's very symbiotic, I think, is a good word. One of the questions we got just now in chat, Captain Batterson, was what was your favorite Liberty spot?
Tell me it was Duke's in Pearl Harbor.
My favorite Liberty spot in Pearl Harbor.
No, in general. In general. What was your favorite Liberty
Wherever.
port?
I don't think I had a favorite one
Where are some places you went?
in Pearl Harbor.
Name some different places you went.
Well, the city that I really enjoyed most, from history and socially also, is Rome.
Oh,
Spain.
Rome and Spain, yeah.
Rome, the Colosseum, the Pope, the church. It meant so much.
There it is.
So I wanted to ask you, before I ask you this question, I want to know that you're okay talking about it, because obviously you're a Pearl Harbor survivor, and you lived through it, right? I just wanted to know if you're okay talking about that subject before I go and ask you questions about it.
Oh, yes, yes.
So why don't you, obviously I know the attack happened early in the morning. Why don't you kind of walk through how that went from the morning until you guys kind of figured out what was going on?
Well, I was in the enlisted barracks. I was not aboard ship. There were about 20 of us in the barracks that night. And I think most of us had been on Liberty. Liberty was over at 11 o'clock, so we were all aboard. And that morning, we thought the noise we heard was another drill. And the language was not too good. Then one guy yelled, "That was a Jap. Just flew by a Jap." So we knew that this was no drill, that we were at war. And we couldn't believe what they were doing to us. Planes flying in, torpedoes hitting the ship, dive bombers making their runs. No, just, we were absolutely defensive. And those men, many of them didn't even know when they died. Torpedo or a bomb hit and was breaking it. And that, we watched that about 15 minutes. Could see it all. And it just, we were stunned. We went below and we had no battle station. Few of the survivors were being brought in. We were helping them. And then the word was passed for us to lay outside, get in the truck, and go down and fight fires in the casting down. There were two destroyers in dry dock, had been bombed and on fire. And they were sitting directly ahead of the battleship Pennsylvania. All three of them were in the same dry dock. So we were on our way to get into the truck, and then we were strafed. Thank God the pilot overshot. But we made it down to the fire, and we were squirting water on the Cassin Downs. There were about eight of us on each hose. While we were fighting the fire, the Japs were bombing the Pennsylvania. She was right behind them, and something occurred that forever remained with me. The civilian who ran a big crane, a huge crane that was alongside the Pennsylvania. He actually got into that crane and was running that crane back and forth, disconcerting, very disconcerting to the Japs. He probably saved many lives aboard that ship.
Wow.
Many lives and much damage. They could have taken him out with one run, but they never did. And he did that until a bomb hit the track, which he was going back and forth. But that was a real hero, and he was only 50, 60 feet from us when he made the run back towards us. He was a real hero. And then it was over. And I was squirting in the water still. We were still fighting fires. Well, the war's over. The war is over. The smoke was so thick that it was more like dusk than it was 9:30 Sunday morning. I could give you more information, but I don't think I would get too involved.
No, sir, that is more than enough, actually. I really sincerely appreciate that. I was stationed on a ship that was out of Hawaii for a few years, and I'll tell you, every time you come in and out of port in Hawaii, you pass Missouri and you pass the Arizona Memorial, and I'll tell you, a lot of those buildings and positions where the ships were and everything are obviously still there, and it's a very somber and humbling thing to go through on board ship as you pass, through the channel, because you didn't live it, but you can almost feel it just by the what you're seeing as you go by, and so to again,
in the air.
yeah, just everything, So I mean, part of me, that's what the main reason I was super super excited to talk to you, because I mean, the places you've been, you and I sound like we had similar locations we've been to in our naval careers. I can't even begin to try to say that I had a similar naval career to yours, because it was nowhere near as spectacular as yours. Mine was mostly boring, but yeah. So thank you very much for that.
Belt buckle.
Yeah.
Wow, I had a question. Captain Batterson, you went back a few years ago to Pearl Harbor, right? You went back for the 75th anniversary, the 75 years since the attack. What was that moment like for you, 75 years after the fact? I'm sorry, sir.
Much we could do about it. Except get involved and try to help our country as much as we can now.
Sure.
And I would like to offer, you the opportunity to come aboard anytime and hear my description of that Pearl Harbor and your Pearl Harbor. Your Pearl Harbor is the Twin Towers. And I guarantee you we'll have an interesting discussion, and you may well change your mind about what you want to do in the future, because it's going to be us getting involved to save our country.
Right, and it's interesting that you draw that parallel, that line. I have a son who's 5 years old, and you know we're getting to an age where our children are going to hear about the Twin Towers like my generation heard about Pearl Harbor, and it's Pearl Harbor is just it's an incredible part of our history, and to be able to talk to you and somebody who was there is just it's an incredible honor, and I want to thank you for that. But yeah, it's just insane to think about that that was so long ago, but it's still something that is so powerful even today.
And we can all get involved, and I can explain this. So come to the ship, come to the Lex. Let's go to the Pearl Harbor exhibit.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Bob. I know for a fact I'll definitely be making a trip out to see you specifically at some point in the near future. I can assure you that much. But I have a couple more questions for you before we let you go. One of them is you started out in the Navy in the supply realm as an SK2 and then an SK1 before you got commissioned, and then you became a commissioned pilot. And then what made you go back to the supply corps after the war?
That's pretty simple. I applied in the Navy. I was a JG at the time. I received a letter thanking me, say, well, unfortunately, there are 25 applicants for every vacancy.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty rough. And I was not an ace. I was not a hero. But I had some good experience in the supply corps. I was a petty officer first class. So I went for a board, sort of an informal board, took a few tests, and I was accepted in the supply corps and went to this supply corps school in Bayonne, New Jersey. And I did pretty well. I did pretty well. And it was a big difference. But I spent the majority of my time, my commission time, supporting aviation. The Bureau of Aeronautics, the several naval air stations. So it paid off.
Where did you retire out of? What command did you retire out of?
I was at the Defense Logistics Supply Center in Richmond, Virginia.
DSLC, Virginia. I know that place. What was the driving force for you to start volunteering on board the Lexington when she was turned into a museum there?
I helped help the city bring this ship in, and it was just a perfect answer to retirement, because here was a ship copy of one that I'd served aboard off the coast of Japan, and pulling some combat ops off it. So it's been perfect, perfect uh, position, just perfect situation for me to have following my retirement, to stay with the Navy.
So I mean, that was obviously a perfect fit. You saw, in essence, your old command, right, pulling into your literal home port. So it made perfect sense. How many tours do you think you've given to people over the years? I know that's probably a pretty hard question to figure out, but you figure you've done it for almost 30 years. How many tours do you think you might have done, or shown people, I should say?
Oh, I don't know, thousands, not many, but I used to work on the flight deck all the time, and more hours then than I spend now.
Fair enough.
I-
Sorry,
Hey,
go ahead.
I'm going to jump in and just say, last year in October, the Lexington welcomed its 8 millionth visitor aboard, and that guy was a World War II veteran of the USS Lexington.
Oh, wow.
And for those 8 million visitors, Captain Bob Batterson here was an essential part of every one of those experiences. So, he's such an essential part of what we do. I think he can take credit for all of
Oh my,
them.
There,
too much.
there you go, Bob.
So,
There's your answer. 8 billion people.
Real quick, if we can, Steve, would you mind just stepping into frame for just a moment? We do have another person with us. This is Steve. He's actually the director of USS Lexington. He's making sure everything is running good down there in Corpus Christi. And we've had a great opportunity to work with Steve and all of the crew at Lexington. So from all of us at Wargaming, Steve, thank you so much for all of the crew and all of the amazing people that you guys have aboard Lexington, and just all the support you've shown our community. You guys actually have World of Warships in the hangar bay.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to doing it again. Love having you guys on board. It's a great partnership.
It has to also be mentioned that Steve is not just Mr. Banta. He is Captain United States Navy, retired also, and he was also in Airedale in the United States Navy. So I recently saw a picture where with you in it, because I was actually trying to sneak more photos of Bob, and you just happened to be in one of the frames where you were still in uniform, shaking somebody's hand. I was like, hey, wow, he was actually a captain too. So it should be noted.
Bob and I hit it off right away.
Of
It's
course.
probably the aviation connection.
Of course you did.
It's the brown shoes, man. It's the brown shoes.
So something that you mentioned earlier, Bob, when we were talking about you going from Supply Corps to pilot and back to Supply Corps, and you had mentioned that there was a bunch of people applying for various billets, and you said one line that I have to 100% disagree with you in, because you had said that you weren't a hero, and that is 100% incorrect. Because so long as I have been an adult, and even before that, I'll tell you right now, they've always called your generation specifically the greatest generation, and it's purely because of people like you that you joined the Navy out of pure necessity because you needed to either A, get out from mom and dad's house because they were about to make you pay rent, or whether it's joined because of service, but you're a veteran. You served this nation greatly. I'm sorry. I'd probably be the only thing I ever tell you you're 100% incorrect about, because you're a complete American hero in the aspect that you have served this nation for over 60 years. I mean, to try to find a whole bunch of people that do that. That's not easy to find, especially today, to be able to tell you that, so to speak, face to face, but face to face. You know what I mean? So I beg to differ, sir. You are a hero.
Well, you're very kind.
And I'll tell you, the photos that we have of you, some of them sincerely kind of brought a tear to my eye, especially the ones your daughter snuck off to me, because those pictures show, when you get a little older, maybe a little wiser is actually a better term. You tend to slow down a little bit, but you could definitely tell you had fun in your younger years, even with the war going on and what have you. So
I know that our one day aboard Lexington, my knees were killing me, so I can't imagine a day in and day out aboard Lexington every day of the week. How many days a week are you aboard Lexington?
One,
Sorry,
one,
one day a week.
day.
What day of the week can people find you on Lexington?
Oh, unless there's a special ceremony.
Do you have a specific day of the week that you're there on board?
Friday.
There you go, folks. So go down to Corpus Christi and stop into Lexington on Fridays. Go say hello to Bob. At least shake his hand, for crying out loud.
Captain Batterson Fridays.
We'll talk about their Pearl Harbor also.
So, Captain Batterson, when you're not serving aboard Lexington, what are you doing with your free time?
Well, there are a lot of organizations. The church, I spend time at the church. My wife, she just lost most of her sight a couple of months ago. There's plenty to do. Plenty to keep me busy. I'm never bored.
That's good. That's good right there. Especially when you're ringing in the civilians, trying to keep them in line on board that ship. I bet they keep you on your toes. I'm trying to grab some more questions for you, Bob, from chat here. So I'll sorry.
I'd like to say one thing about this ship. The crew is 4-0. They are great. They make this ship hum. And when all these great people listening to us come aboard, they will find out all about our great people. And I welcome them. I urge them to come aboard.
I'll tell you, I was on board Lexington. I think only twice so far. I know I was on when I was really young, but the time before the last, and then this past time with Wargaming and World of Warships, and both time the staff has been. You're 100% correct. All of you are amazing people. I mean, the simple fact that you're doing what you're doing anyway is amazing to me. But yeah, that's a fantastic endorsement. So, I'm curious, how many times do you think, in terms of travel time in your naval career, I'm assuming that you've been, all over. You've been to San Diego, you've been to Long Beach, you've been to Norfolk and Washington and Hawaii and off the coast of, Japan in the middle of the Pacific. How many miles do you think you've traveled in your time? Just what do you think? You maybe enough to go around the globe a few times?
I was aboard
Sorry, Bob. Can you move a little closer to the mic?
Yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up just a little bit. I think I caught that you said you were on board a tanker.
There you go.
Oh yes. We pick up oil and then take it to Japan, to Italy, to Germany,
Oh wow!
to the States. I think I traveled a couple million miles.
And unfortunately, not the fastest either, huh? Because those tankers don't exactly move.
85 turns.
Oh, good lord!
Wow.
That's
How many times have you crossed the equator?
I'm a shellback.
there you go. But here's the question, Bob: are you a golden shellback?
Are you a 0-0?
That's when you cross the 0-0. You cross international date line and equator at the exact same time.
Oh,
All the
man.
times across the Pacific, they never made that happen?
Did you go around the horn?
no, never.
Did you do mostly deployments from the Pacific, or did you do Atlantic deployments?
I didn't hear that.
Did you do mostly Pacific deployments, or did you do any Atlantic deployments?
Pacific.
Okay.
So somebody in chat just asked, what's the most beautiful sight you've seen at sea?
Beautiful sight.
Besides home port.
Yeah, exactly. Besides, there's home, right? That, I think that takes the cake. I'll give you that. But at sea,
Beautiful sight.
and I got a couple more questions for you after that too.
I guess the first time I saw not Pearl Harbor, Hawaii.
Oh yeah. From a distance, Hawaii's just gorgeous, isn't she?
It is good.
So somebody else asked, do you ever get your blue nose?
Who knows?
That's where you cross the Arctic Circle. You ever go that far north?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I never did that either. I was glad that I never went that far north. I never wanted to go that far north. So let's see, what else did we got questions. A lot of veterans watching the stream right now, just so you know, Bob. There's a lot of people dropping in chat saying they're shellbacks, they're golden shellbacks, a couple blue noses.
Somebody's dad crossed the equator and the international date line in '43 aboard USS Abbott. So there's a lot of veterans and a lot of family members of veterans in our community of people. So a lot of folks can relate. Have you been, Bob? Have you been on any of the modern aircraft carriers? Have you been on any of the Nimitz class carriers?
No, unfortunately. I'd love to.
Well, we can get you up to Norfolk and try and get you aboard some up there if you'd like.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Lexington would probably fit inside one, but you never know.
The Lexington, yeah. So if you had the opportunity to talk to an 18-year-old who is getting ready to join the Navy, what advice would you give to somebody who's getting ready to join the service today?
To be very objective. To be very objective. To take the time also to make sure that he has facts. He or she has. And take their time, really, if they have the time, to make a sound decision based on fact. There's so much garbage going around today that you would swear that the people doing it are authentic, that they're scams, they're scamming. This is getting a little off the subject, but it's just indicative of what the youngsters are up against today.
Sure, yeah. We got a lot of programs now. I know when I was in the Navy to help better inform and take care of our sailors. So at least we have that now. I do want to shift gears. So you mentioned some ports you went to in Europe. You mentioned Rome, Spain. Where are some other places you went to that were in the Med area or Europe in general?
Hey, Han.
France,
Dad, can you come get Callie?
Sorry, Tim, can you mute your mic, please?
Naples.
I'm muted.
I can't remember some of those in North Africa.
Was that for good reasons or accidental reasons?
On purpose.
Fair enough. I've been to where did you go in Spain, did you say? Do you remember?
My memory.
Oh no, don't even worry about it.
Naples. There's another.
La Maddalena? Or La Palma, maybe?
Italy. Oh yeah, I'm getting them too confused.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm getting Spain and Italy a little confused. Yeah, but Naples, Italy, the one in Spain, can't think. It's on the southern coast.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure I went to the same place because I can't remember that one either for the life of me. But I mean, I remember being there. I just don't remember the name of it. What were your thoughts when you first saw a jet aircraft, like a Navy jet aircraft?
Oh, just couldn't believe it. But that's the future.
Right.
That's replacing the only aircraft I know with a prop.
Did you
It
have
was
any?
an F9F, wasn't it? A Panther? Was the
Oh
first.
no, no. Lion came out with right after the war. They had a prop and jet configuration.
Right.
That that was really the first jet configuration I saw, and it would fly. The prop would stay steady. It wouldn't move, and it was feathered, of course.
No kidding.
It could make it did pretty well at speed, but
Interesting.
it didn't.
Did you ever have to eject from your aircraft?
Do what?
Did you ever have to eject or leave your aircraft in mid-flight?
No. My patrols froze up on me once, and
Oh,
I'm very fortunate to be able to talk about that. It, I've really forgotten what it was that you asked originally.
Did you ever have to bail out or jump out of your aircraft?
No, and I made up my mind that I would not bail out when I saw two SB-2Cs, two hell divers, dive bombers, collide over Pearl Harbor. And all four parachutes streamed. This is why I was flying out of Barber's Point. And I said, no way will I bail out. Four parachutes streamed. That was a sickening sight.
And for those that don't understand, when you say a parachute streams, I'm assuming that means they didn't inflate, so they didn't do what they were supposed to do, correct?
Yes, it was parachute riggers. Yeah.
yeah. So when the chutes deploy, there's a pilot parachute that comes out and drags the rest of the chute out, but the chute didn't inflate. They probably twisted or something. So, a question occurred to me, Captain, when you were flying night sorties. Was it more peaceful flying at night? Was it more peaceful flying at night or sitting on the deck of the ship at night?
Flying at night, you were always on edge. You couldn't relax. It was, in my opinion, flying those nights, and we really didn't have good radar. We weren't made for night flying.
Well, evidently you were, because you did just fine. You're here still.
Great job, yeah.
Well, Bob, we've taken about Well, actually, because we talked before we got you on screen here, so almost 2 hours of your time. We don't want to take too much more of your time here, but
I do want to comment, Bob. You, for 99 years young, you are an incredible inspiration. You look like you're in such good health. It looks like you're strong, and I don't know that I could. I don't know when I'm 39 that I'll want to be doing the things that you're still doing today. So, bravo to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have to agree with Tim. Like I said earlier, when I met you on the Lexington last year, I would have never guessed that you're 90. Well, at the time 98 years old, but because you are still moving like you're nowhere past your 50s or 40s, young man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So,
It has been good.
Indeed. So with that, we won't bug you too much longer.
I think we need to sing happy birthday, though.
Oh, I would love to sing happy birthday. I wish that everybody in chat could sing happy birthday. So before we sing it, though, everybody in chat, if I could please get some birthday cheer and birthday hype for Bob here, please. 99 years young, sir. You are 99 years young.
Tragic. And I apologize to everybody who watches this, but let's go. Ready?
I'm ready.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Captain Bob. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Sir, it is an absolute honor to have you. If you could see me, I'm saluting you. I'm absolutely, it is just an absolute honor to talk to you. And I look forward to our next meeting aboard USS Lexington. Thank you for your service. It has been my pleasure.
But Bob, there's more. You can't leave. You can't leave without properly sending you off, Captain. You don't get off that easy. You don't just get up and leave. You properly as a captain of the United States Navy, we got to ring you off and send you off properly. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And if you
side boys,
yeah, well, if I could get down there to get you side boys, sir, I definitely would. So Steve,
I'll stand at attention and salute.
Steve, if you wouldn't mind muting your audio, please.
All right, do it right now.
Captain, United States Navy, retired, departing. Bob, sincerely from all of us here at Wargaming, I want to just wish you a happy birthday. Thank you so much for being on the stream. And I sincerely hope to see you in person real soon.
Thank you, sir.
Give him a
I
word.
really appreciate it.
Bye, Bob.
goodbye. Aboard the Lex.
Booyah.
Go visit the Lex.
Tim, if you wouldn't mind turning your camera on, please. Folks, just give me 2 seconds here. We're going to get Tim's phone on, or excuse me, camera on. And we're going to, real quick, we're going to recap some of the changes that we've had to the recent update. Let me go ahead and we're going to give Tim a call. How amazing was that, folks? How amazing was that? Can you turn your yeah, thank you.
That was incredible. Yep, nope, I'm working on it.
No worries. So obviously, folks, the fact that we pulled that off and we did it all from home, you know.
So let me quickly dive into to what all of this looks like. Just how this all came to fruition. Um, last Friday during the stream, I'd seen that that Captain Batterson was having his 99th birthday. So I think Kappa had already gone live with the stream, and I was like screaming and yelling and pinging like, "Hey, let's call this out. Let's say something on this." And I was like, "Damn, it would have been awesome if we could have gotten him on the stream." So on a whim, I messaged somebody at Lexington and was like, "Hey, can we get him?" And they were 100% on board with it. They were so excited to see Captain Batterson and celebrate all of the things. So, and Hapa did such an amazing job bringing everything together. All of our teams, it's what we call a fire drill on our side of things, where
Seriously.
the entire. So on our team chat, I accidentally clicked a button and I was like, "Well, shit, here we go." And I was like, "Here's what we have going on, guys," and the entire team. So a huge shout out to the North American team, all of the world.
Oh, not just North American team, globally.
I'm getting there.
Oh, my bad.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All of the World of Warships team just got behind this and wanted to celebrate Captain Batterson in this way. And so it was such an honor and such a pleasure. And I still have goosebumps, man, just getting an opportunity to talk to that guy. It's so amazing. Man, I can't even put words together. He's an incredible human being. Everybody aboard Lexington, they're just incredible. So if you have the opportunity, get down to Corpus Christi, go visit the ship, go visit all of the man. Yep. So Chris, you should start talking.
So let me tell you guys, since we started doing this, I've been attempting to not freak out through the entire ordeal of planning all this. Captain Steve, again, I'll call him Captain Steve. I know that's not even proper at all, but me and him have had multiple calls, multiple test runs to try to make sure that the audio was right. I know we had some issues with the audio in some points cutting out, but that's nature of the fact, the way we had to do this. But I'm pretty sure that you all got the gist of most of what Bob was saying, and I cannot. It just blows my mind again that the fact that I literally talked to Bob face to face and didn't even have a clue that he was old enough to be a World War II veteran. Like, I didn't even put those two together. And again, like Calvoth was saying, globally, the fact that we did all this last second and we managed to get articles out to everyone in every region and push it to everyone, like it's amazing to me that it all came together. But I'm also really proud of the fact that we were able to do this, because anyone living to 99, let alone being a World War II veteran and Pearl Harbor survivor, deserves to be on camera and out to all of you. So,
it's funny. Zeta Paul, you're saying you appreciate our efforts. I appreciate the sentiment, but I'd like to flip the back around to you and to everybody that's viewing this. We appreciate your not only passion for World of Warships, but your desire to join us tonight to talk with Captain Batterson. I talk about how awesome our team did, but we did it because this community is worth it, and because Captain Batterson's story is worth it. So while I appreciate the applause, I tell that story simply because I wanted to highlight how motivated and how excited both Captain Batterson and crew of USS Lexington was to pull this off.
Yeah.
So, I know that there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of, everybody sharing their feedback about the game and about the mechanics and updates and all of those things. But you know what? At the end of the day, the things that bind us together are our passion for World of Warships, our passion for history, and our passion for all of these things that are related together. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys thank you all, everybody out there for joining us. I'm going to try and do a better job of not saying guys. I'm a bit flabbergasted. I'm a bit taken aback right now, but we appreciate everybody's participation in this. So thank you guys thank you all. Darn it. See, there I go again. Thank you all for joining us. This is the first time we've streamed to YouTube, Twitch, and Steam. Words are hard to talk about. Words are hard to say.
Well,
I will tell you this. we want to do more of these. We want to do this kind of a thing because, as Happa said, this generation, the greatest generation, the men and the women who served in the military or lived through World War II, Korean War, all of these things are things that I read about in textbooks and history books, and my son is going to learn through the same method. But to be able to hear firsthand what that experience is like from somebody who was there and survived and experienced it and has those memories, probably as vivid as some of the memories that we have about what happened last week to us, is just it's an incredible honor. And I know I'm going on and on about this, but uh, from the bottom of my heart and from all of us at Wargaming, thank you guys for, thank you all for joining us for the stream. I think we still have about 30 minutes left of stuff, so
Yeah.
I think we recently had an update to
Oh, did we?
World of Warships.
Do we
Yeah,
have
I
an update?
think
Oh.
it was a 0.9 point
Something.
Bob.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I literally put together stuff for this update, but I had no intention of actually being able to get to any of it because I was like, if Bob wants to keep talking, then you know what? This will be the Bob show. That's all I care about. So
Yeah, it's funny that we had originally asked for
30 minutes
of Bob's time, and we were like, if we can get 45 minutes, great. We had an hour, almost an hour.
Well, technically,
of Bob time.
we had almost 2 hours because you
Well,
and
we
I
did because we were doing things on the back end of testing all of this, but we can't thank the crew of Lexington. Steve who was on the stream actually set up everything in the wardroom, so they were streaming from Lexington.
Yeah,
live.
in the wardroom on board Lexington, and that's definitely something that we need to mention is the fact that we obviously had a part in this, but Lexington they're the people that really made this happen. Like they had everything set up and ready to go, and ensured that Bob was good to go for this and able to be present on this day and everything. So I mean they're the ones that do all this stuff. So but we might as well go ahead and I guess get into some.
We could probably play
or something.
some World of Warships.
At least in theory, there we go. So there's the gameplay. It just took a second to pop up. So we had 0.9.4 that happened to the game on Wednesday, and a couple of things that were brought up. Specifically, I want to mention the stuff in the armory, and then we're gonna go over that real quick, and I'll show you. It's a loading. We go to the army. You got the Soviet cruisers event down here, right? So something that one of our players had brought up that actually I had to do a lot of digging to find information. We have these bundles down here, right? And so first off, you got the bundles up here, right? That you could buy for doubloons, and they'll give you tokens and what have you. So like everything listed down below, it tells you. But the reason I came back to this is I wanted to show all of you this specifically. So in our write-up on the combat mission side, we actually clarified today, as a result of multiple players asking, and I want to get the wording right, so I'm pulling up the website just so I can read it for all of you.
These are for early access to these ships.
Yes. So one of the reasons is people were worried about the amount of tokens that they can receive throughout the event. Whether that's through daily missions, whether that's through the containers you get upon completion of the directive, so on and so forth. Well, there's a note in there that talks about the Bagration, the Ochakov, and the Mikoyan. I'm probably saying those wrong. I'm sure Evan will correct me in like 3 seconds. But these ships right here, the Mikoyan, come on, scroll. The Bagration, and then the Ochakov, which is where'd it go? Am I blind? The tier 8. I didn't go down far enough. So the Ochakov. And we mentioned in the combat missions that you have the chance to get more tokens by playing those ships. So essentially your first wins in those ships. So I did some digging, and I couldn't really find where it was saying that, but where it's at is up here. If you go into combat missions, you go to challenges. If you own the Mikoyan, the Bagration, or the Ochakov, the missions drop here in the challenges section. And each one of these will drop you 30 tokens for the tier 8s and 15 tokens for the McQueen. And that's only up to 7 victories. So every victory you get up to 7, you're going to get 30 tokens per. Now, the reason this is important is brought up in chat is they were wondering, they did the math, and they couldn't quite figure out how we were coming up with their 2,100 total tokens that you could get. And the reason is these missions here, these 3 challenges reset every week for you. So 7 wins this week, boom, I've got my 210 tokens off the Bagration. The next week you'll see this challenge pop up again. You can do it again, and you can keep doing it. And so in essence, that'll help you get to your 2,100 tokens. We don't specifically state that, but we did clarify, or we didn't specifically state that earlier. We clarified it finally in the combat missions update, and I'll drop this link in chat for you all. If you go down about mid-page, you can read the change in the text that we put in there. And we literally have, within the first week after this update is released, you can earn 525 additional tokens, Soviet tokens, and that is enough, for example, to exchange for 7 days of Warships Premium account, but completing all missions will reward you 2,100. And then the note below it says the first mission will become available with the release of the update, which was Wednesday. And while those that follow will be unlocked on a weekly basis. So every single week you'll see those unlocked again. So what do you say we play a tier 8?
Sure. Do we want to grab somebody from the community?
Do you want to change it to random?
Yeah. Why is it on co-op?
Oh, that's you.
Are you
You
playing co-op?
invited me.
Yeah.
So the first person to PM Calvoth, you guys can get an invite to the division. While we're doing that, I'm going to look at the directives. So you guys see the directives here. When you complete the first directive, it drops 6 Soviet containers for you. Those are RNG based, right? They can drop tokens for you, which can also help you achieve the goals that you want.
I got. Whoa, lots
So-
of people.
Daft Barrel, you don't receive the tokens in daily containers. It's the daily missions, and that's going to be coming.
All right. So, looks like a Sir William the Dank.
And you want to let him pick the tier?
Sure.
So Ghost Unitville, RNG does suck sometimes, but it wouldn't be RNG without the random part.
That's where it's random.
Yep. Oh,
There,
everybody,
there.
this one's for Food Printer. Don't forget to enable naval battles. It's Friday.
Why it's
You have to add him to contacts first, and then you can.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, then you should be able to send him an invite.
Yeah, it's not going. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Lots of people. Well, so what ended up happening is I got like 45 messages, and things started going very quickly. So, welcome, Sir William the Dank.
Oh, William the Dank, an 07 type. All right, William, I got high standards for you. You best do very well.
So while William is selecting the tier of ships, I know we've talked about a few times last week and this week that we've had some new team members join, and they're currently in chat. We have Madame Wassail, who's joined our team as one of the new North
You
American.
have to say the
community managers.
lovely Madame Wassail. I feel like
Sure.
with that name, you have to say the lovely.
Yeah, there has to be some sort of adage that goes along with it. We also have Mr. CM Mayor Draco, who's our Brazilian community manager.
Mari Draco.
Mari Draco, yes. Thank you, Wookie. I appreciate that. So we are also. Oh, you guys are probably waiting on me, aren't you?
We are waiting on you. It's fine.
Wow, there's no pressure here. We are currently hiring for a Latin American community manager. So if anybody out there is interested in joining the World of Warships team, by all means, drop your resume. But I'd like to welcome those folks to our team. We also have, I don't remember what his online name is, so I'm not going to say his
Bread
real
thief?
name. Bread Thief. We also have Bread Thief.
The
who has
thiever
joined
of
us.
bread.
The thief, the taker of all things bread-like, has also joined us. So if you see Bread Thief in chat or in game, say hello to him. And I'm just mounting some flags here.
Geese.
All right, and let's get it
Right?
on with
Bread thief. He said, bread. That's very bread of you.
Right. Yeah. Are you a gluten for bread thief?
Yes, bread
Or-
thief is the nemesis of food printer.
It's very true. It's very, very true. So, yeah, let's not shoot at Galvoth.
You know,
No loafing
William the
around.
Dank, I don't care if you're drunk or not. I still expect you to fully carry this for us.
Yep.
So I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not going to do it. So, but again, thank you guys. Thank you all. I'm gonna get there. Working on it. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
I feel
hope
like, have you already started drinking? Have you? It's Friday. Did you?
I don't ever
you
drink
kinda-
on Friday.
A little bit into the sauce? Did you?
I don't know. I've had some coffee,
Oh, fair enough.
and some energy drink made by a crimson bovine, I think is what we called it at one point.
Crimson bovine.
Yeah, crimson bovine.
A red cow?
Yes,
I don't know what a red cow is.
a crimson male bovine.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh yeah,
Is that
see,
what
I'm trying-
is that what we called it on the charity stream? Is that what we said?
Yes, that's what we called it on the charity
right.
stream. Was the red
All right,
bovine.
we're already starting out good. William the Dank is
Yep.
crossing my bow the other way. And I'll turn around. I'm turning around.
That's fine.
I'm turning around to follow.
Underway.
Hey, Maddox,
So-
1971. Thank you for the kind words. Seriously, like, stuff like that really means a lot.
Somebody said that or asked what the hardest part of our community manager's jobs are. I would say it's the hardest part of our job is stepping away for the day.
You do
Because
that?
a lot of I
I'll say
roll.
some of us don't do that.
Listen,
I would
listen,
believe that you don't
listen,
do that.
shipmate. Listen, shipmate.
Don't shitmate
Listen.
me.
Listen, shipmate. I roll away from my desk for a little while, but then I roll back.
Fair enough. You get up to go to the bathroom. That's stepping away.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we're still working from home. We're not sure when exactly the return to the office will be, but all of that said, we really hope everybody out there is staying safe. And no, I did not enable naval battles. I forgot.
Well, hopefully it'll happen
Darn.
this weekend. So,
Yep. I've already.
so
I think I got
Warmat16 says you guys don't. What? You guys don't get the thank yous you deserve? Oh, well, I really appreciate that, man. Like, seriously.
We do. It doesn't come in the. We don't. This isn't a thankless job in the sense that people, we don't do this for the gratitude. We do this because it's satisfying and helps us to. It's what we do to find joy in life, is supporting a community as cool as this.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The people are the main reason I do this job.
That's
Like, I've been trying to tell people all the time. Like, it sounds very arrogant of me, so it's hard to not sound. Or it's hard for me not to sound arrogant when I say I didn't need the job. That I wanted this job. And matter of fact, last stream when I was watching the EU stream, Chris Santos even mentioned the fact that he does this job because he wanted it. He wanted to do this job, and everything that comes with the job, salary and what have you, is just a plus. Like, it's an extra because the people, you people in the community, are the reason that. I mean, we do it. I love talking to everyone on a regular basis. The fact I do. I was called an over. What was it called? I was called an overpaid forum moderator the other day, and I was like, well, yeah, okay, I'll take that. But I mean, that's at the same time, I don't mind that. Like.
So this is the first time I've been on the stream in a couple of weeks. I do want to talk about that, not that topic. I want to move on from that. Yeah, so last week we had to make the tough call to postpone USS Intrepid. Evan just said he can fix the overpaid part.
Whoa!
So we did have to make the tough choice of postponing our USS Intrepid stop for Anchors Away. So right now our next stop is scheduled to be USS Wisconsin in Norfolk. So for those of you who hopefully we're able to get out to that ship in July. If you're able to come and join us, if we get there, then we look forward to seeing you guys and gals.
Any
getting there.
any word on Azure Lane, lads? Yes, the word is soon, TM, because we don't know when and can't necessarily speak to stuff that we don't have dates to.
Yeah, Azure Lane.
You guys know it cracks me up how you always ask these questions when you know our answer is always going to be soon, TM. Unless you really like us saying soon, TM, I guess.
We could just change the title to soon.
Soon, TM.
Just soon.
We really do need to trademark that, by the way.
I don't think that you can trademark soon.
Really?
Really, unless you turn it into like we'd have to open a business called Soon, and then yeah.
Soon of Warships?
Soon of what? No.
No. Okay.
TBD.
TBD of Warships?
TBD is the other one. Yeah, that would be the other option that we would have there. So I want to ask the question. What did you guys think of Captain Batterson?
Seriously.
What incredible human being, if you ask me. But I'd love to hear what chat thought about Captain Batterson.
Ow with the aircraft. Why you gotta be like that?
A fine young man. Yeah, he for being 99 years old. I hope that I'm half as active as he is.
Oh my gosh! The
39.
simple fact that he walks all over that ship and does tours and like, come
100%.
on, man! Holy crap! Like,
William the Dank, you need to move faster, buddy.
are you trying to make a new ship? Are you making a?
Yeah, it's not a good ship. It's the Able Pits.
Able Pits.
Able Pits. Yep.
I'm killing an island. You know.
Take that island.
Yeah.
Yeah. So submarines. People have been asking about submarines. Surfacing soon, huh?
Noun verb prime. May we all be that spry at 99. Indeed. I highly doubt that I will be as energetic and laughing
on
like
Tuesday.
Well, I mean that's a given.
I don't. Yeah, it's talk to me next. That's a dream that I have to be that spry on a Monday.
Or ever, really. I mean,
yeah,
let's be truthful.
Sure. He had the same energy as my son.
Oh.
It's incredible. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that he runs 5Ks regularly, or.
I mean, in essence, he probably does, running all over that shit.
That's true.
Right? I mean,
man.
Hey, just so you guys know, I'm going back because, Bagration in front of us. That no bueno.
That's no good.
No bueno.
I am on fire.
Your ship is on
apparently
fire.
They just had a cruiser that just killed half of our team.
Yeah, well, that Bagration right there.
Yep.
He's totally gonna wreck me probably. Yeah, I'm gonna die. I think.
I'm about to.
I got bad feelings about this one, boys.
I protected our submarine from a torpedo, or our CV from a torpedo.
I was like, what?
Yes. Yep. It was what I do. That's the service that I provide. Is a torpedo. I am a torpedo sponge.
Oh,
the Mahan is low. Nope, and now it's gone. The Vladivostok is not being friendly.
Help! Help!
I need somebody. Oh, so because it's time for a dad joke. Everybody on my team has heard this week.
Is it really? Is it really time?
Yep. It is. Oh man, we should have had Captain Batterson tell a dad joke, or just a joke.
He probably would have like, "What's a dad joke?"
What's just a?
No, I'm saying he probably would have been like, "What's a dad joke?"
For sure. So people told me
we
I'd
got
never
each
get
other.
over my obsession with Phil Collins. But take a look at me now.
Noah Marksman, you're 80. Thank you for coming
80?
into the stream. He said he was an inspiration. I'm 80 and was so happy to watch the captain action. Love World of
Wow.
Warships, and this was incredible. Thanks. No, thank you. Thank you for stopping in and watching the stream. Seriously.
Absolutely.
So people, you may not know, but so I've been dropping this stream specifically all over the place. And it had dawned on me today, at least where I was dropping, I was like, I should be dropping this in more than just a gaming venue, like, because this is not just gaming, right? So I ended up dropping in a few of my friends' pages and stuff like that too, because it's like the chance to talk to a World War II vet. So
Absolutely. And it's incredible to speak with somebody who's on the ground at Pearl Harbor.
yeah, one thing that my dad talks about his time in Vietnam, just in small little amounts, because he saw a lot of stuff, and he talks very often about how he'd just not rather talk about it. So that was why I kind of opened that question with, I wanted to know if he was okay with it first. So
Yeah, we had spoken to him ahead of time about some things, but you never know. We want to be considerate. But Bubblehead 675, yes, the plan will be that we will make this the recording of that
Yep.
conversation available. And I'm a little, I don't know. I don't know that I want to call it an interview because it wasn't designed. It was just a chat
A
among
chat, yeah.
sailors.
I had a
So-
hard time staying away from like just talking ship with him, just talking
Oh yeah.
sea stories.
We got onto the topic of talking about sleeping and being in the berthing, and a lot of that was just like, oh man, I can remember the first night aboard the USS Eisenhower, and just there's that smell in the berthing that you don't get anywhere else, and it's not like a musky
It's like a
terrible
mixture
smell.
between metal, dust, dirt, and grease. That's what I've
just
had it
hard
described
work.
as. Yep.
Yeah, and so I wanted to meant to ask him how field day was aboard some of the ships during the war. We think about right now, a lot of sailors aboard ships spend their early mornings cleaning.
Steel Wolf 501, 100% about the story about the crane. I that blew me away. Like the story that Bob told about the crane driver, how he was basically using the crane to protect the Pennsylvania. Like that to me is you don't read stuff like that. Like that's not
that's not news.
Yeah.
That's not stuff that makes it into the news.
Yeah, you don't read stuff like that at all.
Yeah, there was just a lot of incredible or even his late wife, who was a wave.
Yeah.
That just a lot of what people today know of World War II is been from movies, and those are typically sensationalized.
Yeah.
And books, and a lot of it's just having the opportunity to hear it from somebody who was on the ground. I can't even fathom going back after 75 years and seeing that. So
that I just some of the stories you hear, because that's the type of thing that you only hear from specific people that were there. Like it's not normal to hear stuff like that.
Even the concept of the hammock.
Yeah.
Right, I had a rack. He had a hammock.
So my dad always talks about that because racks weren't even standard until ships that started getting commissioned in the 80s. I mean,
right. Well, you go aboard USS Texas when it comes back out, and the USS Texas had hammocks, and it was interesting to see the hammocks all laid out in like right in front of the galley. Right? People were just literally sleeping wherever they could aboard some of these ships.
The kid was the same way. There was actually racks in the mess decks, like. That's where
the I can't think of the rate at the moment.
MSs?
The MSs, thank you. Mess specialists.
Cookie.
Yep. So, Yadeshi, if you mean in chat, do we use mods? Or in game, do we use mods? I don't use mods personally.
I use Nomogram's crosshair, but that's it. Just because I like the dynamic information it gives you, but that's pretty much it. So.
Yep. So.
Oh, so the Bliss has hammocks as well, says Evan. Someday I hope to be able to go visit that ship. It is one of my favorite destroyers.
Yeah.
So.
It's small boys. I don't know. Carrier life for me.
I have to tell you guys though, like I don't care what anyone says. Bob's a rock star, man. Like,
Oh yeah, yes.
I'm gonna be swooning for days. Like, there's a picture that we
I don't
have.
know if swooning is the right word.
100%. I'm fanboy, man. Like, 99-year-old World War II vet, served
don't
in the
get
Navy
starstruck,
for. Oh, with him? Are you kidding me?
Yep.
35
No,
years.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
35
I've-
years in the Navy. Like, come on, man.
I met James Cameron.
Yeah, see,
and
that doesn't
I
impress
wasn't
me.
starstruck.
That doesn't
Nope.
impress me. It never does. Yeah.
But meeting Captain Batterson was something
100%.
else.
So actually, I will tell you, I met Gary Sinise when I was in Iraq. Gary Sinise came out with the Lieutenant Dan Band with the USO, and it turned out the USO wasn't paying them. Gary Sinise was funding that entire thing. So like he flew his entire band out there to do a USO show for the troops. Like that was, to me,
For those that don't know who Gary Sinise is, he was Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump.
Yep. Yeah, and he's everyone. Like I talk to a lot of movie stars. You know, I talk to a lot of movie stars.
You know, the other day I was talking to Penelope Cruz about it, and she was just like,
As we were having coffee, but 6 feet away from each other, of course.
talk to Justin Bieber.
But everyone that I've ever seen talk about him specifically, like in interviews and stuff, has always said he's very humble, very, straightforward person. So, but
Yeah, it's incredible.
Prawny
he is very
82. So the Rogue Wave events, space events. I mean, of course, there's more stuff like that going to be available in the future, but we obviously can't talk about when it would be if we haven't announced it yet. So.
It's my grandfather passed away today at the age of 101. He was a combat veteran of World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, serving in the Air Force.
Wow.
He was later inducted into the Chief Master Sergeant Hall of Fame. Absolutely, Austin won. If we can get a moment of silence for this absolutely fantastic human being.
And
Austin, if you wouldn't mind sending me Calvoth a DM with a picture, I would love to absolutely see it. Don't feel obligated to, but I would love to share it with the team.
what the heck happened to his corpse?
It's incredible. I'm sorry, very, very, very sorry for your loss. 101 is wow.
Good run, William. Now this is all down to our. Well, not really. I didn't realize that they had 3 ships and not just. Oof, this Z-39 could totally, or you could shoot your guns and die. I mean, that's cool. Well, yeah, it's.
Maybe.
Yeah, but he's in a destroyer. He's getting bombed, and he's parking in front of it, Prince Eugen, while shooting his guns. Even though
That's
the Prince
fine.
Eugen's not shooting at him.
He was.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh.
Yeah, well. Nice try, nice try.
It was close.
Good game.
So I think we have time for one more match, so pick up one other person.
Sure.
Sir
Send you.
William
Send
the
you
Dank.
Thanks for
That's
the match there, Will. Bill. William.
Will Bill.
I don't know what to call you. Dank.
Billiam.
Mr. Dank.
Will
We'll call you Mr.
Bill,
Dank.
Billiam.
Billiam.
So who is? Oh, there we go. I gotta give you Das Boot, Mr. William.
Okay,
And
so
over-
something else I wanted to
Oh.
highlight here in the patch, if you notice. You guys notice there's no ability to change these anymore? Yay! All of the premium consumables are just consumables. I'm not going to lie, but just about every single battle, I go to this tab to try to make sure that I have premium consumables on my ship that I don't need to check
It
for
is.
anymore.
It's a bit of a habit, isn't it?
So, yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. There's some good stuff, but the big saving that I want to highlight here too, beyond the fact that you're not paying every time for replenishment costs, is there's a couple questions from carrier drivers that were asking because their replenishment costs are automatic, and they were automatically paying an upcharge for consumables that they never had a choice really to pick. So your repair costs or replenishment costs have been reduced as a result of this as well. So across the board, everybody's getting credit savings for you.
And I know a lot of people saw a lot of credits show up in their inventory.
Yeah. I think I had
So
30 million or more. I saw somebody in the forum said something like 69 million credits. Like, holy crap! So let me go back to
Mike
Armory.
YM, Mickey M. My grandfather passed in 2009 at 84. Served in World War II, both in the European theater and Pacific theater. Took part in the Normandy landings, Battle of the Bulge, and the Okinawa invasion.
So something I was going to talk about with the bundles here in the armory that we don't illustrate particularly well is when you go to the Soviet cruisers bundles. We have all these bundles that you can get with the tokens, right? So you can get the Mikoyan, the permanent camo for Talon, the Talon itself, permanent camo for Rija, and the permanent camo for Petroplavsk. Plevosk. What we don't talk about is the fact that these are sequential. Okay, so you get the McQueen first, and then you move on to the permanent camo for the Talon, right? So I just got the permanent camo for Talon, and then from here you can move on to actually getting the Talon. So I need another 100. What is that? Math's hard. 165 in order to get the. Oh, it says it right there. Math's easy if you let the system do it for you. It's right there.
Computers do math really well.
And then you move on, and so on and so forth. So that's a little change from what we've done in the past. We got some feedback before about possibly having a little graphic showing you a little better on that page, and hopefully we'll do better in the future and actually put that on there. So let me just make sure I've got all the camos and stuff. All right, let's go here. Let's drop another battle.
So pro tip: don't say computer in front of any of your devices at home that listen for the term computer. Mine just started talking to me. So, do you ever open daily containers? Daily. I do so daily.
Would like to have more time to complete the 75th VE camos. Totally understand that, but unfortunately they're gated to what they were. So we'll see if maybe we'll have another event or something like that where we'll offer them later on in this year, maybe. Don't know, because there's a lot of 75th anniversary events going on this year with the end of World War II. So
right, with the VE Day.
Yep. But that being said, I'm not saying there's going to be more. I'm just saying there might be more.
General quarter.
I saw some of you eyeballing what I said.
The eyeballs. People are like, "What is he talking about?"
I know. Make note.
HAPA confirmed. There will be more days to come. So yeah, I'm super excited for next week.
What's next week?
Well, we're gonna push this recording out. The recap of Captain Batterson.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, and then
I thought you were going to be excited to show Mardako's beautiful face on stream.
Oh man, I feel bad. We were originally
bad
going
for
to
them
have
or bad for us?
For him.
Oh,
specifically. We were originally going to have him join us and join you for the stream this week, and he was ready. I think he was super stoked, super excited, and we were like, well,
just kidding.
Captain Batterson, though. And he was super understanding. And I will say, we are super lucky to have the new team members join us. I'm
100%.
so excited to they're super ready. They're hitting the ground running on everything. And just super, super motivated and excited to I'm going to say super a few more times. The first time...
I feel like you're trying to concentrate and talk at the same time.
I am, yeah. So the first time I ever did an interview live was in 2001 on a radio show, and I was running this out of my bedroom at my mom's house on an ISDN phone line, on ISDN internet connection, and I was running a radio show for an MMO that I was playing, and I had
For those of you that
develop-
don't understand, radio is
I'm
that
old.
thing that you have in your car that you probably connect to satellites now with. Anyway,
Yes,
carry on.
he's being serious about this. So I had one of the developers call in from this game, and I think I recorded saying flabbergasted 14 times in the course of a 3.5 minute.
Flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted, yeah.
Well,
that
if
was
you're
great.
going to pick a word to repeat repeatedly, that's a pretty good one, I think.
Repeat repeatedly.
Yeah.
If you repeatedly repeat flabbergasted.
Yeah.
You live in Orlando, Florida, and at the Navy Exchange.
What?
You live in Orlando, Florida, and at the Navy Exchange, and he was on a TB.
Oh, did they have his picture on one?
Oh, okay. I feel like I'm missing part of that.
I do too. I'm not 100%.
I do like Orlando, though.
Florida.
So, Florida.
Florida has to be mentioned at least once a week, I think.
Especially Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
For a
Yahtzee.
particular Carmat 1 ticker. So for those of you out there who do not already do so, please make sure you're following our social media channels. We are on Twitter.
Our amazing social media channels.
Sorry, yes, I didn't add that
You
word.
need to have it in there, otherwise she hates us.
Yeah, Twitter, Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are now on TikTok, and I think maybe there's a MySpace page out there. Maybe
I'm
a
sure there's
Friendster.
one floating around somewhere.
Something.
Floating, get it? Floating.
Floating around. No.
Speaking of floating, so on the 27th of May, submarines are going to be sinking into your life. Is that on par with what your jokes are? Is that
No.
no?
That was a 4.
Okay, well.
That was a 4.
27th of May, guys. From 27th of May to June 24th, the submarine battle mode is going to be available to play.
Dive right in.
And you said mine was a 4?
Yeah, but I get to choose the scale.
Fine. Oh,
I'm the one rating. Like
hardy.
I've got the scorecards. It's my
Anywho, we're gonna be starting at tier 6. With that, just
and
so you
it's a
guys
special.
know.
It's a special game mode. It's not going to be in random battle, so you will. I torpedoed the conversation. So you won't see submarines surfacing in our random battles. You see them in a special torpedo battle mode for tier 6. Yep. So yes, chopper drops are the drops for submarines are on starting the. It's dropping on the 27th.
Pretty sure he means Twitch drops.
Oh, Twitch drops are enabled. So
Yes.
make sure you've linked your World of Warships account with your Twitch account, and you can get those on Naval, or you can get those drops. For those of you in YouTube or our Steam viewers, I'm sorry we don't have a system there.
I am going to drop a link also into forums because every single week I run these wonderful things called forum contests. And all you have to do in these forum contests, as I sit here in orbit up to an island, is submit a screenshot that is called out for specifically in the contest. So like last week it was May the 4th be with you. And it was all you had to do is show your favorite ship in the spaceport, and that
Oh,
was
we
it.
should have done a tier 4 ship. Your favorite tier 4 ship.
Why?
That would have been whatever.
But yeah, so that's all you had to do. Everybody that participates gets consumable camouflage, as well as a couple winners, lucky winners, grand prize, get premium time, a week of premium time each. So it's just something to keep in mind. The forum contests run Monday to Monday, so please make sure that you join. That's on NA server only, just so you guys know. For now, that's an NA exclusive contest that I run every single.
I'm gonna hit this tiny island, the sandbar. This is gonna be fun. So, but somebody asked about DDs and depth charges.
Yes.
Happa, do you want to talk about the surface warfare of subs or against subs?
Well, I'd rather be able to show people, but I can't really
Fair.
do that
That's fair.
right now.
But there are surface combat.
So
Surface ships
currently,
will be able to combat.
yep.
With depth
Currently,
charges.
every single Tier 6 destroyer pretty much out there has some kind of anti-sub warfare capability, as well as every light cruiser, and we're going to be adding more to it right now. So just keep in mind on the live server, folks, starting on the 27th of May, you're going to be helping us test the game version, the submarine game version. So that's why we're releasing it to a totally different game mode on the live server, and not just random battles.
It's only been seen in PTS and other closed testing, so this will be the first time that on the live servers you'll be able to dive in. So make sure that you're providing feedback to us on the forums, and I qualify every time I say feedback. It doesn't just mean I love this or I hate this.
They're dumb.
Yeah,
That's actually
feedback like that is not really useful. So provide detailed feedback on what's good, what's bad, and if you have thoughts or suggestions on how to change or improve things, share those. Just saying this sucks doesn't do us any good.
Can't really action a lot of that.
So, happy birthday to you, the Warlord CA. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I'm super out of position right now. I wanted to be in to Charlie by this point, but yeah, wishing happy birthdays. So.
Problem solved, sir.
But yeah, so next week we should have our new Brazilian community manager joining us, and then probably the week after that, Lady Mademoiselle will probably be joining us. Mr. Moto, there will be news very soon, and there's no TM attached to that. There will be news very soon.
There's always a TM attached to that.
Well, it's a TIM this time.
Oh.
Because my name is Tim.
I'm not gonna.
If you didn't know that, my name is Tim.
You don't get that.
Yep, I get to say that.
Oh.
I get to say that. That was my favorite joke. Is when people would say TMI, I'd correct them in how to spell my name because it's funny, and I don't have a lot of good jokes. So, hey there, Sin, and everybody else in chat. Gosh, I'm trying to be articulate, trying to be like, hey, yeah, but then I just keep going. Captain Batterson was such an awesome dude. So
definitely a highlight of my time so far here at Wargaming.
Yeah, it's honestly probably one of the proudest moments that I will have. I've had in my career is just getting to speak to somebody with such badassery about him.
Tank 2003. Now, you ask if there's any Memorial Day specials. You know that I can't talk about stuff unless it's been officially announced.
Torpedo support.
You know this. I feel like you know this. I feel like everybody knows this.
I just learned it.
I feel like that's not true.
But
all right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt there.
Maybe singing in the shower is off. Then it just becomes a soap opera, Romeo.
And
I
don't
told that
forget
joke
to add in flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted, it's true. I did tell that joke. So in our morning meetings, there's always a dad joke, or some other kind of joke. So I feel like your brightness settings on your computer are still adjusted. No, I'm just a very illuminated.
What does it mean?
person.
Oh, well, folks, remember we're doing this from home, so the lighting, we don't have like crazy, professional stuffs. But any fix on?
I do live.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll say Wooden Chef asks, "Is there any word on the desync issue fix?" So this patch that we just had repaired the desync issue with carriers and bombers, so they should be fixed. And in the next patch is coming up, the shells will be patched. So
Carmat 1 to I look a little glary. So I will say that where I'm at right now is rather close to a nuclear power plant. So it could have something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just glowing from getting to talk to Captain Batterson. Who knows? Who knows? We're I don't know. I mean, this is kind of a not a terrible battle. I think we're kind of one and one-ing here.
oh, we're gonna lose this.
Are we?
We are down.
Oh
300
yeah, I
points.
was not even looking at the tickets. I was looking at the ship
I am
counts.
actually gonna try to push to B.
Okay, I'm gonna focus on paying attention to the fight now, and not pay attention to all of these torpedoes that are now in the water. Am I gonna? Oh wow, that was a fun dodge there. Let's see. I'm just gonna go right up against the Zuzuma.
Try to get that skein out. I would focus him
Yeah.
before I focus the Azuma.
I am,
Okay.
but I've got to turn.
I could
I got to turn away.
torp him, but you're too close.
Wow, I think I've taken your habit of spamming keys because it doesn't actually help.
It does help. It's scientifically proven.
It's not. There's not.
The more
medicine.
times that you hit the direction
Oh.
you want to go, the faster it goes that way. It's proven.
It is a scientific fact.
It is. It really is. It really is a scientific proven fact.
Is it?
It is. 100%.
I lost sight of that skein.
Yeah, he ran away.
He's watching the stream.
Probably.
I agree with you completely, Bod. He was amazing. But y'all are also amazing.
Really should thank USS Lexington for allowing us to have
For sure.
Bob, because
Yeah. Well, and Bob's wife.
oh, of
Bob's
course,
wife.
yeah.
She was a big part of.
And in case you guys, if you haven't had a chance to, you should go to the Lexington's Lexington as a Museum. I think is the actual Facebook page.
Lexington on the Bay, I think.
Is it? They actually have pictures from his birthday celebration that they surprised
Lexington
him with.
Museum on the Bay. Yep.
And you guys heard us kind of talk a little bit about it, but he was surprised with the parade on his birthday, right out in front of his house. So
They had like 100 cars drive by, with I think the mayor was there for Corpus Christi.
that's so
And
awesome.
just a lot of love for that
So
for
awesome.
that man. I didn't realize that hearing firsthand somebody that has landed on a 500-foot deck.
Seriously, at night.
Man, at night when the deck is listing.
After he said that, I saw the next question one of our players was asking, which was, what was your favorite or least favorite port? And I knew that as soon as he said 500-foot flight deck at night, I knew that was going to be the worst. And I knew his answer was also going to be land. When I asked him his favorite port, I was like, yeah, you really...
Favorite place to land, you mean?
Yeah, I said, do you have a favorite place to land? He said, land. Like, anywhere. It's like,
Well, I think
yeah, fair enough.
after so many months at sea, any sailor's favorite Liberty port is home port.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Even being single when I was on deployments, I was like, nothing is better than being able to see, like, San Diego when you've been gone for 6 months to 9 months. Like, that was always a highlight for me.
It's any port. Seeing going through the channel in Naval Station Norfolk.
Yeah.
There's a buoy that's like 35 or 40 miles outside of the channel that from a distance looks like it would be an oil rig. And I know seeing that when we were coming back in, seeing that coming back in was always just like you knew, because then you started seeing seagulls, and then you started seeing small buoys, and you started seeing smaller ships, and then the moment you see that harbor master ship, you're just like, man.
The first deployment I was ever on when I was coming back, when you're off the coast of San Diego or California generally, of course you could see the land on the horizon. But it's going to sound awful, but when I was off the coast of California, the smog coming in from LA was the first thing you saw. And that's honestly how I would gauge where I was in terms of almost being home. We know the
Yeah.
smog. The
That's what I'm saying. That's
yeah,
how you would gauge your proximity to land. is
yeah.
how
I
much
was like,
smog.
oh, we're here,
Yeah.
right here in California. Yay.
It's when we started seeing seagulls in the hangar bay that we were like, I think we're home. And then you watch all the sailors that are like, they'll try and get as high as they can
Yeah, yeah,
up
yeah.
to try and see land first.
Can you hit that Don's
So yeah, I've been working on him.
Thank you.
He's down. I'm trying to chase this skein down, but he's gone around the island there. So, huge shout out to everybody in chat who has joined us for this stream. Now we're going on a little bit longer than normal, but for those of you who served and are words are really hard. They're great words though. Who have served or are currently still serving, thank you so much for your service. If you want to drop in chat where you're stationed, what you do, or where you were stationed, what branch you were in, I'd love to read those. And that goes across to all. So.
And this will be the last battle of the night, of course. So
For sure.
I just wanted to mention the fact that everyone's been thanking us for having Bob on, but honestly, I would rather thank all of you for joining us to experience it, because I mean,
Absolutely.
For me, I've literally been excited about this all week just because I got the chance to talk to Bob. It had nothing to do, no offense, folks, with the stream, but to be able to talk to Bob. But it's also been kind of annoying because, like I said, I literally talked to the man for like 20 minutes or something when we were on the Lexington. Never realized that he was a World War II vet. So, but
It was funny is we had to keep Hapa focused on work all week. It was like he was sitting there with the camera on, ready to stream. And we're like,
I was waiting for the time.
Tuesday.
I actually was going to have a timer like starting 7 days in advance and just sit here and smile, stare at the camera. But
I had to tell him it was Tuesday. So, hey, we pulled that off though.
I don't know how that happened, how that worked out.
We pulled the win off. So
thanks
well done.
for the division, Maverick.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And so thank you everybody. I know this stream was a little bit different than our normal Friday streams, and I'm sure it was worth it.
100%.
100%
worth it.
This time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know a couple people had mentioned in chat that we definitely need to do stuff like that more often. So we'll have to take a look at doing something like that maybe.
Yep. Definitely love to do it. It's something we're exploring. Something we're doing. If you don't, so this is just some random plugs here. If you don't already, make sure you guys are following our Twitch channel here. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow us over there to be notified when we're going live. And follow those social media channels. Take part in Hapa Fodder's weekly forum contests. Stay up to date on everything happening World of Warships on worldofwarships.com. Enjoy 9-4. And we look forward to seeing you in game, and thank you all so much for coming out.
And from all of us here at Wargaming to all of you, we hope that you're all staying safe, staying healthy, taking care of each other, and taking care of yourself. And we hope to see you next Friday. Thanks for coming.
Bye.